Well, hello, welcome to our Teacher Talk. These are always discussions designed and requested by teachers. In this particular Teacher Talk, we're going to be talking about digital teaching aids, what we here at Abeka offer, and also give you some ideas on how to implement them into the classroom. My name is Micah Conlon. I've been in Christian education now for 20 years. I've been a high school teacher. I've been a principal, administrator. I've been everything in between, it seems like. And currently I'm working on the math publishing team. I'm a writer and editor here for Abeka. And this is Tanya Harrington. She's been in education as well for over 20 years. She's taught elementary. She's also had administration duties. And she is actually the project manager for all of our elementary products. She does an amazing job, as always is so busy with all that work, but we're so glad to have her with this particular Teacher Talk. So DTAs, digital teaching aids, we like to abbreviate things around here, DTAs, they're not relatively new to us. We've been producing them for a little bit of time, but we have found that there's not been as much interest in the digital teaching aids as there may be, and probably a lot of that is due to the fact that many teachers that I have spoken with, they just don't know that we offer them. Many teachers aren't on our website, or you may not do the ordering of the curriculum from your school. Maybe that's the administrator or their assistant that do that. So you may not even know what is available to use in the classroom. So we'll hopefully be able to demonstrate some of those things in this particular Teacher Talk. And we're going to talk a little bit about why we have them. Now, I think we all understand that visualization in the classroom is extremely important. I read a recent study on visuals in the classroom. Do they really enhance the class? Do they not? Particularly in the age in which we live, with a lot of online learning taking place, how has that impacted the visual component to the student? And they are still pretty confident that visuals increase learning somewhere about 400%. So they're obviously extremely important in the classroom. But a lot of times teachers just don't have the opportunity to make quality visuals.
It takes a lot of time.
It takes a tremendous amount of time. So hopefully by the time we're done with this Teacher Talk, you'll have some ideas on how you can purchase some of these DTAs and how you can use them in the classroom. So Tanya, why don't you tell us a little bit about what DTAs actually are, and then talk a little bit about how the individual can actually purchase them.
All right. Well, let's start by talking about what is a DTA. It's a digital teaching aid. What we've done here at Abeka is take our physical charts that you're all familiar with, that are about 18 inches by 22 inches, and we've put them in a digital format. Those print charts are still available, but we've taken them and we've put them in a digital format. That's where we started several years ago. We have digital visuals for all grade levels, from K4 all the way up through 12th grade, in some variety. So what we've done is we started with those chart sets, and okay, well, let's just give them a static image that they can take and drop into their PowerPoint, drop into their slides, and they can show for their class, so everyone can see it easily. That's where we started. And as we began to build our library, we started thinking, are there concepts in the textbook that's just a picture? But if we could animate that picture and deliver it to the teacher, that would help the teacher be able to explain it and help that concept come alive for students. So we looked through the textbooks. What are some difficult concepts that we could help the teacher and the students make easier? So we'll animate those. Sometimes we'll put a script with it, with an explanation. The teacher can choose if they use that or not. And sometimes it's just a static image or a moving image that'll just help the teacher explain the concept a little bit better. Now we're venturing into some more interactive. So if you have a whiteboard, the students can come up and move and manipulate things, as well as the teacher. And also kind of venturing into what else can we do for those teachers? So we want to hear from you. What can we do for you? COVID really pushed us a little bit we heard from teachers right away that they needed more charts and more visuals available in a digital format, so that when they were Zooming with their class or having online class with their students, they had visuals easily accessible for themselves. And so over the last year, we have produced more DTAs. So there are almost all of our chart sets are now available or will be in the coming months. Continue watching this spring for a few more, especially in those lower grades, that we'll be releasing over the next couple of months. So even as you're working still in those hybrid classroom situations, you can have your charts available. What else would you like us to venture into? We'd love to know, because we heard you during COVID and teaching remotely, and so we've tried to provide those materials for you. What else would you like to hear? If you have something that you'd like us to investigate, explore, go ahead and drop us an email at editor@abeka.com. Again, that's editor@abeka.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Send us your idea, your suggestions. What would make it easier for you to make it amazing?
That's an excellent point, because as educators, we try to be creative in the classroom. We want our students to be engaged and learn, but sometimes it's very difficult. The concepts are very challenging, and it really doesn't matter what the grade level is. Every single teacher has, sometimes they have a roadblock with a student, and maybe if they just had a visual that they could put up on the screen, or maybe on an iPad or some tablet of some kind, and just show them, hey, this is how this is done, or it just really brings that page to life, and it really gives the student, it keeps them engaged, but it gives the teacher that opportunity to influence outside of that textbook by just showing an image of some kind, or a video or animation, as was mentioned a while ago.
Yes.
Great job. What about, how do they find this? Because again, that was one of the concerns that a lot of teachers had. We just don't know where to find where these are located, which ones do you have? So Tanya, talk a little bit about that.
All right, well, first of all, you as a teacher can have an account on Abeka.com. You can sign up for emails that way and just have that access. We're going to have what's new for Abeka. There's a tab up here that you can go to and just be frequently visiting that, just to excuse me, just to be able to stay up to date. What's current, what's new, because we have been releasing especially these digital teaching aids all throughout the school year. And I did just find out that your administrator can link your teacher account to your school account. So ask them about that. That'll be helpful. So go ahead and set up your own account if you don't have one, or talk to your administrator about that. But you're going to go to Christian Schools, and then down to products and to digital. That'll bring you to the digital page, and you're going to see that we have several digital options, but today we're going to talk about the digital teaching aids.
Okay, so let's say they've purchased them, they know how to do that now. Where do they actually find them to be able to download them to the device that they may be using?
Okay, you're going to go to Mr. Smith there and dashboard, and here you are. Anything you've purchased, whether it's digital clip art, and here's our DTAs, and you just click on that and it gives you everything that you have purchased for the DTAs. And so you can see we have such a variety. Your English 10 through 12, History 3, Spelling and Vocabulary, so many things to choose from, whether it's static charts or interactives. And so
yeah, and the good thing about download or purchasing them this way, either through your own personal login or through a login that your administration may set up, they're linked to that account forever. So you have these digital teaching aids as long as you have that active account. So, and which is very helpful as an educator. I may have an elementary teacher teaching second grade this year, but then next year I need her to teach third grade. But then the following year she's got to go back into second grade because there's now 2 second grades. Well, she'll already have all those visuals from the DTAs already linked to the account. So it's just a great way to keep her running track of it. Plus, you'll always have access to it. You don't have to download every single visual that you have for the entire year at once. You can access your account through the website at any point. So just a great opportunity to help with that. So, well, we've talked a little bit about where to find them. Let's go back and talk a little bit about how to use these in the classroom. But before we do, let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to move on here. And I'm going to show a video or an animation from our Science, Earth and Space curriculum. Now, it's a fantastic curriculum that a lot of young people enjoy. It's typically a middle school grade, but sometimes schools will switch the 9th and 8th grade curriculum depending on what they need. But again, in science, you're trying to bring things to life. You don't want it to be stagnant. One of the greatest things a science teacher can do is to demonstrate the science concepts in the class, but also to show animations and concepts that the students can visualize. Again, the goal is to visualize. What can they actually do here? So we want to talk a little bit about this, how to use a DTA to engage the class, because that's one of the main purposes of a DTA. That digital teaching aid, it's literally a digital format of something that the teacher can use to aid in the instruction. And we live in such a technologically driven age that students are comfortable with this.
Yes.
They are very comfortable seeing a short video clip in the classroom. They're comfortable with a digital image on the screen. And again, you don't have to have a smart board. You can have a simple projector connected to a wireless device of some type. For my class, what I found helpful for all of my high school teachers, all they really wanted was a projector, an Apple TV, and a tablet of some kind to connect it all. Elementary teachers love the smart boards because of all the interaction that it has. So whatever is beneficial for you, and obviously whatever your budget allows, but you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a very nice smart board when a projector and other devices will do just as good of a job. In fact, I often found myself holding the teacher book in my hand and having my phone that had the PowerPoint presentation that was connected to the projector very often in the classroom. But what about that DTA I was just talking about? For that, it's to demonstrate wind transportation. And there are 3 types of wind transportation: the creeping phase, saltation, and suspension. But again, that's very boring. Me just to say that there's 3, and I could even describe them to the students. I could even have a picture of them. It's just not the same as what you may see in this short video. Again, a short video here to help us see. It's animated, and I can pause this video at any time. So maybe there's a student who has a specific question about one of these phases. You can see the high quality of the video. It's not grainy. The digital team, they do a fantastic job of using state-of-the-art technology to manufacture these animations. So again, you can see the 3 phases here. This is the last one, the suspension. And a lot of our science DTA animations, though, at the very end, if they're comparing things, they'll put them all on the same screen, so the student can see it all at the same time and see and get a very good understanding and comprehend the 3 different types, in this case, of wind transportation.
Just something like this, Micah, I can see when that comes up as an essay or a question on a quiz or a test, they're going to have that visual picture.
Oh, yes.
And it's going to help them remember exactly what they learned about it.
Absolutely. Other research suggests that almost 90% of students today learn visually, and we've never had that many before. You know, we all know the different types of learners that we may have, but since we live in such a technologically driven age where they're looking at a screen quite often, that's one of the primary ways that they can learn by seeing these. So putting this up, it's great. They can visualize this picture when they're answering that essay, and it really helps them comprehend the concept instead of just saying, okay class, here's 3 types of wind transportation. Now we can actually show them using the DTAs that we offer. So very, very helpful here, very interesting. But Tanya, we want to talk a little bit about the interactives. So let's go back to our webpage here quickly. And we're going to talk a little bit and show some of these interactives that we have. I think the first one we're going to talk about is the blend ladders. I know you're very excited about this.
I am very excited. Can I tell you, this one almost made me want to go back in the classroom. It's just really cool. Having taught kindergarten for many years, I can just see students' eyes and their faces, and they're getting super excited about these. One thing I do want to mention is every one of our DTAs comes with a how to use these your DTAs. And some of them have a just a practical pointers, but then most of them have a tutorial video that you can watch, and it will explain the features of that DTA, how to best use it, different ideas for using it in your classroom, as well as the different platforms. So let's look at this blend ladder DTA. This is used K4 through first grade, and we have the static images. Our chart sets are always going to come with a static image, so you can download that, pop it into a PowerPoint or whatever presentation you would like, and show that, display it any way you'd like, or print it or whatever. But then our blend ladders also come with an interactive. You have a blend ladder interactive as well as a vowel chart interactive. This is super cool and super exciting. I've already downloaded it, so we're going to go right over here, and you can see on the side of the screen, on the left side of the screen, you have access to all of the blend ladders at the touch of a button. And so that's super cool, because otherwise you've got this stack and you're digging through it trying to find which blend ladder you need, having all of them that you need for that lesson so that you have what you need to practice and review with the students. They all begin with the vowels in alphabetical order, but by the touch of a button, you can switch the order. And I don't know about you, put a blend ladder up there and those students are going to stand up and go, mama, and not even look at those blend ladders. But by switching the vowels, you're making them concentrate and think about what they're doing. On the other side, you have the letter stickers. So you've got access to all of those letter stickers. So you can sound out the blend, pull over the letters. As the teacher, you can have some letters stacked out to the side, have students come and make your words. They very easily move on and off. If you have a touch screen, on an iPad, if you're projecting, you can have this student come and do it on your iPad, and the whole class can see what they're doing. It makes it much easier and visual for the whole entire class.
Yeah, another benefit to this as an educator is it gives you it's an instant assessment is what it is. Because you can tell instantly if that student understands how to blend all the letters together, the proper order that they need to be. It really helps tremendously with that. And also by being a touch screen, I know a lot of teachers probably have had some experience with students that struggle with writing, dysgraphia and things such as that. Well, these are good tools that the student could use in order for you to assess, do they really understand how this all fits together? So of course you'd have to refer to your administration about how they want that to be done. But again, it just gives an opportunity to use a tool, a digital teaching aid, in this case this interactive, to increase your opportunity and your ability in the classroom. It really truly engages the students.
This is one, Micah, where I know of someone right now who's using this one-on-one in tutoring with children, and it's been a real asset. The children love it. They're excited when it comes out. It's not, oh, I've got to sound out these blends again. It's added excitement to it. It's super easy to use. Then to clear off, you just hit the trash or the clear stickers and it goes away. You can always reset your ladder and just switch right back and forth between all of them.
What a great tool. This is just fantastic. I can remember my elementary days with the teachers with that big old chart and the chart stand and them flipping that over. And I had some very frail teachers, older teachers, and they sometimes would struggle just to get that all the way around. But again, it can be heavy. Just a great opportunity once again to use technology in a way that really does help in education. There's always going to be controversy when it comes to how much technology should I use in the classroom and how much should I not. I think the goal is to use technology that is beneficial. There are a lot of things out there that just aren't beneficial, but something like this can really cause a tremendous amount of interaction and engagement in any elementary classroom, particularly the lower elementary. So we talked about the blend ladders. What else do you want to talk about?
Oh, I want to show you some fun things. This is from the history. Let's go back just a minute. This is from the History, Science, Health 2 teaching charts. And you've got all your charts. You've got your I'm struggling here. You've got your history charts, and you've got your science charts, your diagrams with the labels and all of that. But then you also have your health charts. So this is the healthy meals. And for meal planning, it has stickers. The students can come and build their healthy meal. Everyone in the classroom can see it. You can have them build one meal. The sticker bar slides by touch. You can slide it this way. You've got lots of choices, just lots of fun, interaction with the children, them coming up, being involved in the lesson. And while looking at this, it makes me think about all of those pieces that we have for all the games in those lower elementary grades. All of those are available as interactives within the DTAs. So that's a great thing to have. And
no more losing pieces
exactly.
under desks and students taking them home. Yeah,
yes, because that's their favorite little critter or anything like that. We've also have our spelling. And let's see. This is our spelling for vocabulary poetry. And you have lists, and we'll look at those in a few minutes. But really wanted to show you was the vocabulary flashcards. I think it just doesn't like my touch. So for the vocabulary list, you have, for the vocabulary flashcards, let me slow down a minute, you have all the lists right here, and you can select which list you're working with. You can even select within that list which words you want, turn them on or off. Then on the setting, you can set your quiz mode. If you want it to be true, false, multiple choice sentence. If you just want the flashcards, you can say whether you want the term or the definition, or whether you want it to quiz the term or the definition. And then, right here, then it will show you, and this is just in the sample mode, not the, there we go. So then you can flip the cards over. You can also set how well you know the term. If you know the term well, then it will show up less frequently than it will if you don't know the term well.
This obviously is not just a tool that can be used in a classroom, but this is a great review tool that could be used anywhere.
Absolutely.
It's important to remember all of these DTAs can be used on multiple platforms. iPads, tablets, computers, your phone, smart boards. We've manufactured them in a way that work across all platforms. That, by the way, is why our interactives are all web-based. So they'll work in various web browsers, Chrome, Edge, Internet Explorer, Safari, whatever you use in the classroom. All of our DTAs will work on those platforms, and we were very intentional with that. So many people use different tools and technology, but we wanted to create DTAs that could be used across multiple platforms. There's a great opportunity for this particular tool could be purchased by a parent.
Absolutely.
As an administrator, I often had my elementary teachers coming to me and saying, hey, I got this student that's really struggling with these spelling. If it was a new teacher particularly, a younger teacher, they'd come and say, is there anything I can use in order to help my students with these spelling and vocabulary words? Well, this is a great tool that you can let the parent know how they can purchase these, and then they could use these on the kid's iPad at home. Or my kids are always asking for my phone. Can I see your phone, Dad? Can I see your phone? Well, if I had something like this on my phone, it could, again, take technology and use it for an educational purpose. And this is much more beneficial than maybe other avenues that are, because this specifically deals with vocabulary and spelling words that are in the curriculum. Again, it's very important to understand all of these things are in the curriculum themselves. So it's a great tool to use, and it reduces that time that the teacher has to find all these different resources in order to try to create something that the student can use. So this is a great point. You mentioned the spelling list. Let's take a look at those. I think we have those back in our presentation. Let's see here. So we've looked at the blend ladders. We looked at some of the other tools. This is a spelling and vocabulary list that is very effective for students. We have this in elementary, and we also have this in some of our high school classes. What this does is it will have the spelling word that will come up, and we'll go ahead and hit play. And the words will be...
Spelling list 21. Forgotten. Committed.
And then the class could say committed.
Sobbing.
Class would respond sobbing.
Quizzed.
So it's just
Spelling list
Whoops.
20.
it's just a tool that is used to introduce those spelling words. Also, all of the words are pronounced properly.
Yes.
A lot of times when you're going over these spelling words, the students don't know how to pronounce them properly. So this is a great tool in order to help them to hear and also to be able to repeat that proper pronunciation of that word, because we all understand that the proper pronunciation aids in the spelling of the word.
Absolutely.
A lot of students, some that struggle with the spelling, often struggle with the proper pronunciation. So linking those together just by using that particular DTA can be very effective, very helpful. We also have one more DTA we want to show you when we're talking about engaging the classroom. Again, the purpose of all this so far, engaging the students, showing them information that can help. So we have a picture here from our Science, Order, and Design textbook. And like we mentioned before, almost all of the images in the textbook and also some that are straight from the teacher edition are included in these DTA packages. So you don't have to search for all these random pictures. You have the exact picture that's in the textbook itself. I think you all would agree that our illustrators and designers here for Abeka are just amazing.
Amazing.
They just do unbelievable, amazing work. And for you to be able to find that type of work on the internet for free, you're not going to find that. But to find it in these DTAs that can be purchased, it's just a great opportunity. So what I want to show though is, again, taking the still image here and transforming it into an animation. So let's try that again. So we have this animation that comes up right behind this one, and it's talking about the respiratory system of a bird, which I've taught biology. It's sometimes difficult to explain to a student that they actually have a different respiratory system than we do. So you can see the four-step process to a bird actually breathing in this animation. You can see the quality of the animation. Again, it matches the textbook exactly. It gives explanation for the process. And again, you as the teacher have the option and opportunity to pause this animation at any time and further explain in detail one of the steps that you may be interested in the students knowing a little bit more about. So once again, just to show how the animations and the still images can be used together in these particular DTAs. So just wanted to point that out. So we talked a little bit about how DTAs are used in order to engage the class. I, as the administrator, want to know a little bit more about them. How are they going to affect, are they going to save me anything such as time, money, and space? This picture is a picture that I actually took when I was on an accreditation team. We went to a school going through the whole accreditation process, and I came across this K-5 classroom. I walked in and I saw this closet. It was the most beautiful closet I have ever seen for an elementary, particularly
It's
lower
so
elementary.
organized.
It has everything in the proper place. They're labeled properly. I told Tanya when we were preparing for this, I said there's only 2 times that this closet will look this way. One is at the beginning of the year, and the second one is during an accreditation visit, because teachers understand closets do not typically look quite this organized during the year. Plus, talking about all these DTAs and the value in them, they're going to save a tremendous amount of space.
They are.
Elementary teachers would love to have a closet the size of their classroom to store all of their goodies, but that usually does not happen. I've been to many schools where there are no closets, so they have to come up with something a little bit more creative like this and put it in a cabinet of some kind. Well, one of the benefits to the digital teaching aids is they take all those charts and digitize them, so you literally can take them from classroom to classroom. Some of you may team teach. You may have 3rd grade science in this section, and you may have another section of 3rd grade science. Well, instead of having to carry all those charts with you, you can literally carry them digitally with you as you go throughout that entire school. Not to mention they can work at home, right?
At home, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got access to it right there. You could prep more at home, get you out of that classroom a little bit more in the evenings, spend more time with your family.
Time is very valuable. In fact, we had a teacher that has been using our digital teaching aids for several years now, and they said that they actually calculated it, and they said that it saved them about 20 hours a month in prep time by using the digital teaching aids that we offer.
That's a tremendous amount of time over the course of a school year.
Time for you to recuperate, time for you to spend with family. So many, we would all love that time to have to spend with family, and having these DTAs can really help with that. They just save a tremendous amount of time. Well, how do they save time? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other DTAs we offer. Elementary teachers that have seat work, we have all of your seat work on slides for you to use.
So that's K4 through third grade.
Third grade.
And it shows proper formation.
Yes. I can't tell you how many times I went after school, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, walk by the elementary department, and they're still there writing that seat work up on the board, getting ready for that next day. Imagine again the time that you would save just by having something like this. So seat work's included. We have the charts that are included for this one. I believe is a third grade arithmetic, talking about rounding. Again, it would take a tremendous amount of time for you to have to recreate this on your own.
And to have access to it.
That's
Again,
right.
You're putting that picture in the student's mind.
That's right.
Of when I think about rounding, when I've got a problem about rounding, this is what I'm going to think in my head.
Oh yes, and I've had the privilege to interact with many veteran teachers that have taught 30, 40, even 50 years in the Christian school, and they still have some of their visuals that they made all the way back when they started.
Guilty.
And the reason why, it's time. These digital teaching aids will save you a tremendous amount of prep time. So they have such a tremendous value when it comes to that. A writing process. Again, the complexity of this would be very difficult to recreate on your own. If you wanted it to be legible, you wanted it to be colorful, you wanted it to be engaging, it would take some time to do this. But again, literally, it takes just a few seconds to download this, put it in a presentation, and put it up on a screen. What a tremendous amount of time that could be saved during this. This is the reason I chose this one. This is an algebra concept that's introduced on our third grade arithmetic, and I chose this because again, you can see the complexity of this chart. This would take quite a bit of time to do, and to do it efficiently and to do it properly. So this is one of my favorite things when it comes to our history DTAs. Now we have some tremendous videos, some interactives as well, but one of the things that a lot of teachers struggle with when they're talking about geography, talking about history, is finding quality maps that can be reproduced or shown in the classroom. These maps right here, I have a map here of Africa. It's the same map, but I chose this one specifically, and all of our maps are like this, by the way, where it has countries and major cities or capitals, and then it also has a map of the same map but with none of that, so no labels at all. This could be used as a great study aid, it could be used as an assessment, it could be used in so many ways. But again, notice the quality of these. You can see the topography of the land, the latitude and longitude. You can search for quite some time trying to find something of this quality, and you're just not going to find it.
And it's going to match the students' books. Yes. Exactly.
That's a great point to reemphasize. It's going to match their text. So what they see on the screen is exactly what they see in the text. And believe it or not, that really does impact student attentiveness, because you'll have some students that'll be interested in finding the differences between the maps. The map on the screen and the map in the text don't match. Let's see if I can find the differences. Or you may have a map that you pull up on the screen that you found online that it's not inaccurate at all.
Right.
It may be an older map. It may not be accurate and up to date. Well, our DTAs are very accurate. Our teams do a great job making sure everything's up to date, and they do a fantastic job with that. So these are just great opportunities to have and to introduce in the particular class. So we've talked a little bit about the digital teaching aids, how they save time, money, and space. Obviously they save time because you don't have to recreate this. They save money because you don't have to invest in the materials needed. And we know it's going to save a tremendous amount of space in your classroom. So the important part about this is, again, just reemphasize this, they can be viewed on multiple devices. So you may have a computer at home that is not the same as your computer at school. Well, you can still work on your presentation or pull these DTAs from those and still have the same DTA. So it's just a great opportunity. So we talked a little bit about DTAs and how they engage, how they save us some things. Let's talk a little bit about how we can use them to teach new concepts, because in my opinion, this is one of the greatest contributions that DTAs offer when it comes to the classroom. I think we have a poem that we're going to introduce.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, our spelling, our spelling, vocabulary, and poetry in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade have had a CD in the back of that TE. Well, we've made those available through the DTA now. So you have a poem, this is from 4th grade, and we've taken the illustration from the book and we've animated it a little bit to give some interest. You can have discussions about the illustration, and then you can listen to the poem. You can use this at the beginning of a lesson to whenever you're first introducing the poem that they're going to memorize, and then you can also use it daily as you're checking homework. Set the DTA, have it recite with it. We'll listen to a little bit of it, and have the students recite their poem. And you, as the teacher, are able to focus on what you need to be focusing on that check and homework. But then you can also just have them practice their poem and doing double duty at the same time.
Once Upon a Story by Bethany Urbina. Once upon a pillow, I dreamed a happy dream. On every face I saw a smile, in every eye a gleam. Grass and trees were swaying, and speckled gold leaves fell. But what would happen next, I fear I could not tell. Once upon a paper, I wrote a story down. The characters were kind and true, no face did ever frown. The breeze was always blowing, as in my dream again. But everything went just my way, because I held the pen.
It's a really cool one because it's written and read by Bethany Urbina. But they're just really neat. I've got some favorites in that set of poetry, but just an enhancement to your class. It helps them to memorize with the proper inflection without being sing-songy in the poetry. Just a great asset to your poetry time.
That's fantastic. We have a couple of more. I want to talk a little bit about a DTA that I've actually used myself, an interactive to introduce a concept in science that sometimes is a little bit difficult to demonstrate, or at least to demonstrate in an effective way. So let's take a look here, go back to our website here. Again, this could be accessed from any web browser, but if we're talking about in physical science or science, matter, and energy text, we talk about kinetic and potential energy. And as a teacher, what I have often done is I would take a pen or a marker and say, okay, students, I'm holding this pen. If it has a certain amount of potential energy, and I try to explain what that is, and then I say, okay, now I'm going to release it, and that's kinetic energy. And I release the pen, and I look out on at the class, and they're still confused entirely about what is the difference between kinetic and potential energy. So the science team came up with the idea. By the way, the writers and editors are often the ones that come up with these interactives and the DTAs based on our experience in the classroom. And we create these, and this one's one that I think could be very effective. It's an interactive, so the student can actually change the height that the ball is being dropped, the mass of the ball itself. It could be changed as well. But what I want to focus on from the academic perspective is in the bottom right portion of this screen, where you see G for gravity, the gravitational constant. But here you see the equations for potential energy and kinetic energy. Now in physical science, they're expected to use these to solve problems, but they often don't associate the formulas with the concept. It's often two separate ideas in the mind of a student. But I can hit the drop button here, and this ball is going to drop properly. It's not going to just fly to the ground. It's actually going to accelerate as I hit the drop button. But notice these numbers are going to change as the ball is falling, because as the ball falls, the potential and the kinetic energy are changing. So I simply hit that drop button, the ball starts to drop, all these values start to change. I can pause the interactive at any point, and we could really talk about these formulas. Why is there a difference now in the potential and the kinetic energy? And we could talk about this and really engage the student. Again, this is a lot more effective than me taking a pen, holding it in the air, and then dropping it in the classroom.
It helps them see how the formulas relate to what is actually happening.
That's exactly right. One of the most challenging things for a math or science teacher to do when it comes to formulas is to relate those formulas to reality.
It's not just something that's memorized.
That's exactly right. And oftentimes you'll find that as a math and science teacher for many, many years, that was a huge problem. There was a disconnect. So something like this interactive, could be used in order to introduce the concept and also reinforce the concept. So just another tool that can be used in order to really enhance that classroom. Well, the next one that we want to show you, it's probably also one of my, I just enjoy this one. I think it's really, really neat. And it has to do with letter formation. So Tanya, tell us a little bit about this.
He chose the letter today, let me tell you that. These are our cursive formation flashcards, but it's those static images brought to life, animated, so the student can actually see the formation of the letter, just like they're going to see a blank piece of paper and they have to write it themselves. So it can come to life for them. These are available at 3 different levels: your kindergarten and first grade level, your first and second grade level, and then the 3rd through 6th. So moving up into that notebook paper so that they can see the proper letter placement and where the letter should align. So we're just gonna maybe tap and let it play. Here we go. So as a teacher, you should be talking them through the letter. It's gonna come down, touch the dotted line, back up to the starting point, down to the pink carpet. All that wording is in your curriculum to help you, but you can talk them through the letter. Then as you're working through the page with the class, you can put this on loop and just let it play. Let it play while you're going around and helping the students, making sure that formation is correct, making sure they're touching the lines, making sure they're holding their pencil correctly. But these are available in cursive and in manuscript.
This is just a tremendous time saver. As Tanya was talking about how teachers can use this, I was reminded of a teacher that I had that really struggled with getting everything in. Getting everything into the class that she needed to get in. And one of the biggest holdups was reading groups, because she would have a reading circle and then she would have, students working on their seat work at their desk. And she wished she could just multiply herself, that she could actually provide instruction for the students working at their desks while actually listening to the students read. Something like this could actually do that. As Tanya mentioned, you could loop this video and it constantly plays, so the students who really struggle with this formation, I chose Q on purpose because it's one of the ones that really challenges students. So they're trying to figure it out, trying to remember that. And having it not just a stagnant image, not that that's bad, but actually showing the formation really helps, again, engage that student in order to introduce this concept while the teacher can help other students in other areas that they may need assistance with. It's just a wonderful thought, wonderful idea. I'm so glad that we offer this. Just one more animation. Again, I'm a math teacher, being on the math team, and one of the things that I find very difficult to do or very time consuming is drawing graphs, Cartesian planes and things to that nature, particularly in pre-algebra when we first introduced translations, rotations. Those are very difficult to draw properly, effectively, and efficiently. So we, again, intentionally created some of these DTAs in order to help with that. This is a video. It has actual narration with it, so you can mute that if you'd like to, or you can allow this to introduce a concept just so that the students can actually see this. So let's take a look at this.
Another type of transformation
DTA.
is rotation. A rotation turns a polygon about a point known as the center of rotation. For each vertex of a rotation, the distance to the center of rotation remains the same. Notice that when the blue triangle is rotated clockwise 90 degrees, the x value of each vertex is multiplied by -1, and the x and y values are swapped.
Now, this is exactly where I would pause it if I were teaching this concept. Rotating this on a board would be impossible for me to do. To draw this out on a chalkboard or a whiteboard of some kind, it would be very difficult for me to do this while showing the students what's actually going on with this concept. So now they can truly understand, okay, clockwise rotation, I just saw what happened. Oh, but this is actually what's going on with all the coordinates that are being used. Again, just a tremendous way to present a concept. Now notice, that literally took about 15 seconds to show. It would probably take me 2 to 3 minutes to actually demonstrate myself on the board. Now, I could do that. I probably would. I would probably show this as an introduction, then really go back and work some of the practice problems that we had in the text. But the point to this is I'm saving some time being effective in helping students understand concepts that would be very difficult for me to duplicate on my own. So just some great tools that can be used in order to demonstrate what can be used with our DTAs.
I just wanted to remind you that if you have more ideas of what you'd like to see done digitally, drop us an email at editor@abeka.com and we'll look into that. We want to support you in your classroom, providing whatever you need to make it easy so that you can make it amazing.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again at our next Teacher Talk.
Have a great day.